this is the time when all of the NFL teams are plotting out free agency, the franchise tag, all that stuff. The draft's ahead of you. When you look at this Browns roster moving forward, what do you see as the biggest areas of need?
Yeah, I mean, I think they did a lot of heavy lifting in the last 2 years in the offseason, and I really don't think the roster needs a whole lot of upgrades. I think there's some specific areas that they can look to and they will address. But on defense, I would say on the defensive line, you have a little bit of a as you saw last year, the importance of the defensive line. Right now on paper, defensive tackles, you only have two under contract. Obviously, Delvin Tomlinson, who was your big signing last year, and the rookie Siaka Ika, who very didn't play a whole lot. He was a third round pick, but he sat behind Maurice Hurst and Shelby Harris and Jordan Elliott. Unfortunately, those three are all free agents. They were all, well, Elliott was in the last year of his contract. The other two were 1 year signings, Harris and Hurst. So they need to make some adjustments there. I have a total on the defense. I think they have 7 of 11 starters returning. And I think most of those guys that are not returning are not currently on the roster because they're free agents. They could return them. They could re-sign them if they wish. The biggest question would be Zadarius Smith, um, who could leave in free agency, but I think they would try to get him back. So defensive line, I could see that being addressed in free agency or in a trade. And I could even see a big splash, you know, in free agency at defensive tackle or end. On offense, I think the biggest need, in my opinion, is wide receiver. I think they need a top end wide receiver that can go with Amari Cooper and would be maybe move Elijah Moore more into the third role as opposed to the second role. Somebody that can really balance out Amari Cooper, or maybe even somebody that might be ahead of Amari Cooper. I mean, right now you're very thin, behind Cooper.
Yeah, that would be my areas as well. And I think they probably would like Hurst and probably Harris back. I think both of them played pretty well on 1 year deals. And I think, those are guys they like.
Yeah, I think they have an inside track on both of them. Harris didn't get signed till it might even been after Greenbrier last year. I don't remember him being down in West Virginia, but it was pretty close that time after a couple of weeks of training camp. And you get a guy in their 30s, sometimes they sit around, see what their options are. And I don't see it being a lot different. I think he's 31, 32. Those type guys, I think you can find, but it'd be nice to know you already have them. I think a lot depends on what they do. Do they go all in to try to get a Christian Wilkins, Chris Jones type of player? And then maybe that lessens the need for Shelby Harris or Maurice Hurst. But I do think you need depth there. And I think both of those would be very nice additions, especially Harris. He really played well. Hurst, the knock on him has been being able to stay healthy. I know he tore his pec muscle late in the year, had surgery. I don't know if he's ready to go at the beginning of the season or where he stands, on that. But both those guys would be in the top of my list. But if they can go get, even a bigger name in free agency, that I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen. I think that would be a good thing.